Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Choice Hotels get you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Like these road trippers making waffles and eating fresh fruit in their natural habitat. The breakfast area at a Comfort Inn. I just love seeing a vacation maximized in the wild. Check into more. Book direct to choicehotels.com.
It's splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga hold you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends. See you, Lee, be the band.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Central Division Showdown. I am the host today, holding it down for the Detroit Pistons, B. Foster, one half of Post Game Podcast, and I got some well-esteemed co-hosts in the building. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Representing the Cleveland Cavaliers, who we got.
How's my volume? Too loud or what?
It's smooth.
Not you.
Hey, B-Falls, I'm good, man. Thanks.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that was the issue beforehand.
Can't hear nothing.
Thanks for hosting this week, man. We got some technical difficulties jumping off right now, but we'll get them situated. Yeah, I'm the homie Tate, man. Coming at you from the That's Right the Cavalier podcast on the Fans First Sports Network. Here just to talk some Central Division hoops and the rest of the NBA. We got the finals game 5 about to start here in about 20 minutes. We got some NBA trades to talk about and just whatever else you and the homie Pay want to chop it up about, man. But thanks for hosting tonight.
Oh, yeah, no problem. And, yeah, like you said, we got the game coming up in about 30 or a little under 30 minutes now. But we had a trade the other day that popped up out of nowhere, something that I don't know if you were expecting it, but I certainly wasn't expecting there to be a trade before the finals was up. But Desmond Bane is on the move. He is heading to the Orlando Magic. And in return, the Grizzlies will be receiving Cole Anthony, KCP, 4 first-round picks, including the first-round pick of this year, which is the 16th overall. And it looks like there's maybe another pick swap in there, but this is obviously something that impacts the East and the West because it's an exchange of players. But your knee-jerk reaction after seeing it? What are your thoughts on the trade as a whole?
Talking to me, B-Falls?
Yeah, I think Pay's still working things out. If I'm not. Oh
no, I hear you. Okay. So my knee-jerk reaction was first, like the Orlando Magic are trying to cut.
Pay, turn your mic down just a little bit.
knee-jerk reaction was Orlando Magic trying to copy what they see is in the finals right now. They need another floor spacer. Desmond Bane is that. Desmond Bane is not expensive, even though he's got a $200 million contract, second year of it. For this economy of the NBA, that's not a deal breaker. That was my initial thoughts of it. Atlanta Magic wants to get out of that first round by any means necessary. They got the young horses, so adding another vet piece who's battle tested in the playoffs helps them do that.
Okay, and what do you think is the thought process in the Grizzlies? Is it to get off the money, or?
Well, that's complex because that's more of a non-knee-jerk reaction. You know what I'm saying? Because there is some thought that maybe the Grizzlies are going to tank it out now, right? Maybe they're going to get off Job. Maybe they're going to get off JJ3. Shout out to him. So that has been bandied about a little bit. I don't know if that's what they want to do. Maybe they thought that Bane was, maybe not worth the squeeze or didn't fit their long-term goals, or that they heard that they can get 5 first-round picks for him and said, why not?
Right. Yeah. Tate, what are your thoughts on the move? Or how about this? So do you feel like this with the addition, them bringing in another 20-point scorer and a primary ball handler, which is something that they kind of lacked last year, because I think they had Corey Joseph as their starting point guard. Do you think that puts them, especially in a weaker Eastern Conference, do you think that puts them in a nice position at the top of the Eastern Conference? You're on mute.
Yep, find myself. But no, all I was saying, man, I pretty much agree with everything Pay had to say. As far as what it does for Orlando, like he initially said, they needed shooting. They needed shooting in a bad way, in a really bad way. I mean, they got Paolo, they got Franz. I don't know that Desmond Bane won't be a primary ball handler. He'll be a sniper defender. I mean, I think Suggs comes back healthy next year. Suggs and Bane in the backcourt with Paolo and Franz on the wings. And their big is the guy out of Duke. What's his name?
Banchero.
Paolo Banchero.
No, the big guy. Banchero and Franz.
Carter.
Oh, yeah. Wendell Carter.
Wendell Carter, yeah. So no, I think they definitely compete in the East. I can see them anywhere in that 3, 4, 5 range as far as playoff seedings go next year in the East. I mean, because you're gonna have some regression from some teams. But who I want to talk about that? I had the Pacers regression, and they 2 wins from a championship. So don't listen to me on that one. As far as Memphis goes, though, yeah, again, agree with Pay, which I've said 2 times in a row, never. But agree with Pay. I think they probably are hitting the reset button. I mean, I didn't realize till he said it. Bane got a $200 million contract.
That rookie extension, he got. I think by the end of the deal, he's going to be making like $40 million plus. I don't think it's that cheap of a. Let's see, it goes from. He's got 4 years remaining: 36, 39, 42, and 44.
Wow, I mean that's a lot. But like you said, in today's NBA, but they paying Banchero. Franz hasn't got his. He go get it.
Banchero has not yet.
Okay, well, yeah, Banchero going to jump up to the top of the Orlando Magic pay scale. For sure. But so they already, when that contract is ready to hit the books, are looking at being a second apron team. If you're paying 3 players over $40-50 million. So, but they in win now mode with this move in the East, like it is. They in win now mode. It's okay to be in that space if you are trying to win now. Like I said, like we were saying, Memphis got all those draft picks. Wow, four number ones for Bane. That's crazy. Yeah. And they got And Memphis also got
Cole Anthony.
Cole Anthony. I think, I think it's a rebuild. Cole Anthony can get some time there. I think they probably gonna get off one or two of Ja or Jaren Jackson. I could potentially see it being Ja. I don't know. I mean, just the noise he brings into a locker room, they go ahead and try and build around Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, but I think one of those two are on the move sometime this summer in this busy season in the NBA.
Yeah, I think it helps both teams as far as what they're trying to do. It definitely puts, especially with Bane being around the same age as, I mean, I think he's only like 25, 26. So he kind of fits the timeline with the Wagner brothers, and he's a little bit older than Banchero. But on the Grizzlies side of things, I mean, unless they do plan to move on from John Morant, I think the combination of a Cole Anthony and a KCP, you can kind of almost get to the production level of a Bane, and then it provides them with a little bit more flexibility. They move off that rookie extension deal. I think Cole Anthony is an expiring deal, and it gives them an opportunity to pay Santi Aldama if they decide they want to do that. That's the first thing that jumped out at me with the Pistons eyeing a guy like Santi Aldama. This gives them it gives the Grizzlies opportunity if they so choose to pay him the money that they didn't really have at their disposal with them paying Bane as much as they are. So I think that it may just be a not a rebuild, but just a bit of a retool. But we'll see. We'll see what else happens. That one wasn't really planned from what I know. So
do you have my bad, B Falls. Do you have the rookie extension numbers in front of you? Because I'm thinking, because I was thinking about what Tate said. They'll be a second apron team right now, and I'm thinking right now, like they don't have a supermax player on that squad, the Orlando Magic. So their extensions would be maybe a max for maybe a rookie max for Wagner and Banchero, in addition to what they pay if they keep Bane around. I'm not sure that's a first apron. Just doing numbers in my head. So
my understanding, if you got three players making 40, 50 plus, then you can jump into that second apron. And I think when his deal is going to be ready, maybe not this offseason, next offseason, but Banchero definitely getting a rookie supermax.
Well, supermax for just to explain it to those. Supermax really only, I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but supermax really only is attributed to a vet player with 9 years and above. Guys that can get 40, 45% of the cap. Those type of guys. For Paolo and Wagner, they're only eligible to get 25 if they get their max at their level.
Well, how did I don't know what the deal Kate Cunningham signed, but Evan Mobley just signed like a rookie supermax 240 million.
Right. So that's a max for his level. So the supermax would be what Jaylen Brown has gotten.
No, right. That's why I said rookie supermax though.
Okay, rookie supermax. Well, I mean, they have. I don't think there's a max for that. I think it's just a max. I don't know, that term just skews things like that, right? So I'm looking at the active roster for the Atlanta Magic right now. Franz Wagner, he signed his deal. He signed up to 29-30. Well, this is an estimate. I'm sorry, he's not signed. Paulo Beccaro, he's ready to get his deal. He's going into his last year of his deal, like you said. So he'll get his chunk of change. Everybody else, like you said, Anthony Black, who's awful, Jet Howard, Tristan da Silva, Eton Thomas, all these guys are interchangeable.
Eton
Wagner's
Thomas still in the league?
It's not, or is there?
Oh,
Thomas?
no, he
Thompson.
Oh, okay.
I remember Eton Thomas.
Yeah,
right. He's a decent writer right now, but and Jonathan Isaac, who's I'm not gonna call him awful, but he is.
He's
Let's say. And then you got Jalen Suggs. I don't think none of these guys. I think they can.
Jalen
team
got his deal already, though, right? Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, he got his deal. He's making about 30 a year, depending on the year. So, point I'm making is that this team can
rookie supermax is not a thing. It's a contract designation. It's not a contract designation, but rather a term you describe a player on their rookie scale contract extension. They can get up to 35% of the salary cap.
Right. Oh, if they hit certain benchmarks. So, yeah, you're right. So I think the starting salary for a rookie extension is 25%, and if they do certain things like Cade Cunningham, they can get up to 35%.
So, go ahead. Well, any closing remarks about the Bane deal before we move on?
No, I'm just saying my closing remark is, just looking at the numbers right now, and the new media deal kicks in next year, this coming season. Cap gonna go up. Orlando's positioned themselves to be a perennial playoff team. They've already made the playoffs 2 years in a row, two straight first round exits. That's what they're trying to do. Their 5-man is set. And now that they don't have 5 first-round picks for the foreseeable future, you can bet that they're going to be not picking and choosing, but bringing in reserves, on 1-year deals for the next handful of years. But their 5-man is locked up, and I think that's a playoff team, easy.
And Orlando is an attractive market to play in, so they could lure some nice veterans there to come play with Banchero and Franz Wagner. So yeah, I think they're set up for sustainability myself. I think like you said, they'll be a perennial playoff team. They'll be one of the more competitive and probably better teams in the Eastern Conference for the next 3-4 years to come anyway. So yeah, I like the move for them. I like what they did, and I think wait and see. We'll see what else happens. I don't think it could be Orlando's last move because they gave a lot of assets, but I don't think Memphis is done.
No. And yeah, just in closing, they had a lot of injuries last year. I think Banchero missed a good chunk of time, and both Wagner brothers as well. Jalen Suggs wasn't available for the playoffs. They had a boatload of injuries going into the playoffs. So they pretty much knew where they stood, going into the postseason. But I think that they are under the understanding that, a healthy team, and you add in a, nice second, third option, and they can make some moves, especially with teams like Boston making their regression. We don't know what's going to happen with New York. There's a lot. There's an opportunity certainly for a team. Oh, the Milwaukee, of course, is going to. Maybe Indiana will make their regression finally, but yeah, there's certainly an opportunity to step in and move to the forefront, and that's exactly what Orlando did. Let's get to the first break, and then let's talk the finals. All right, OKC in Indiana is now knotted up at 2-2 after a strong conclusion to the game by SGA. He scored 15 points, 15 of his 35 in the last 4 minutes of action, and that was after Indiana got off to a really hot start, and they just weren't able to keep that going. along with SGA's 35 points. They got 27 from Jalen Williams, 20 from Caruso, and 14 from Chet Holmgren to tie the series at 2-2, which is going back for the best of three in OKC. What did you guys see out of that game 4, and why was Oklahoma City able to get the victory?
One of the things that Indiana's done well in this series is keep SGA and the rest of the, not the rest of, but SGA in particular off the line. That's probably his superpower, even though he's pretty good. He's great at a lot of things on offense and both ends of the floor. But his superpower is getting to that free throw line. And they've done a terrific job of keeping him off that line and basically taking a huge part of Oklahoma's offense off the table for him, right? I said at the beginning of the series that these teams match up where they're mirror images. They like pace. They like to just jump the passing lanes. They like to get out in fast breaks. Those things play well for each other. Just OKC just does it better at every level than Indiana. Well, Indiana is, knows how to just be tough as well. But to SGA's credit, like you said, he was having a rough game. He looked very aloof in game 4. He was just not out of it. He wasn't a lot of his shots looked flat. But that fourth quarter, that's when dogs are made. That's when you make your legacies, right? Especially in the finals for MVP, scoring champ, 2-time scoring champion, right? Conference MVP, conference finals MVP. SGA is looking to cement his Hall of Fame career now, and he went a long way to do that in that fourth quarter, game 4. So I can see some of that transitioning to game 5, some of that mojo moving on to another game 5. Now, to be fair, Indiana hasn't lost back-to-back games in over close to 3 months now, and Oklahoma hasn't lost back-to-back games in a lot longer time than that. And when they do lose, and Oklahoma doesn't lose, they don't get blown out. They keep it close. As always, that's the type of great team that they are. So it'll be interesting. This is a coin flip type of game going into game 5.
Tate, what did you see?
Before I give all the credit to SGA, and he did play a better fourth quarter, but quite frankly, Indiana gave that game away. I mean, Indiana was up the entire game. It was up by 9 going to the fourth quarter. They got sloppy with the ball. I feel like, they held OKC to maybe 3 or 4 3-pointers for the game. They shot a terrible percentage. Indiana out-rebounded them. Like every metric that you use to see who wins and loses basketball game. If you looked at the statistics, you say, oh, Indiana should have won that game by 8 points. Easy. They found a way to give it away. But in fairness, they found ways to take games from teams during this playoff run that same way. So it happens. But, yeah, I think they really needed to get that win the other night. And when the series is 2-2, it's typically a coin toss. That's 50-50, 2-2. So tonight's game is pivotal. I think whoever wins this game tonight, and it's in OKC, so Indiana really needs to really try and come play and steal one tonight. But whoever wins this game, to me, has a stranglehold on the series and could potentially probably be the NBA champs.
Yeah, and I think that OKC definitely played with a sense of urgency. They were down 2-1. Statistically, you go down 3-1. I think they said that 37 of the last 38 teams that were up 3-1 won the series. So I think they really felt like they had their back against.
Who was the one team that came back from that?
What is it? What an assist from B. Foster. That was the cleanest dime you've ever thrown on this show.
No, I don't have an answer as far as the one team.
Wow.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's wild.
Hey, tell me the answer.
Oh my Jesus. Way to go, Foster. 2016 was a time to be alive.
Yeah, that's right. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Shout out Cavs fans. That's one for us.
Right. Wait, who was it? Was that wasn't versus us, was it?
You said one time out of
finals.
30. Yeah.
Oh, in the final. Okay, got you. Okay, yeah. As long as I didn't give an alley-oop for my team to be dunked on, I'm okay with that. But yeah, that would be in the final, so that wouldn't be with.
Well, us. I mean, Draymond.
Yeah, that was shiesty, but
don't y'all think they put too much on that? I mean,
no, I'm talking about Draymond being from that area. I mean, he's.
I thought you was going to Draymond getting suspended for a game
and how that helps y'all.
Yeah,
when you flagrantly kicking nether regions, that's you should be suspended. I ain't got no problem with that. Draymond was on some other shit, so I mean, he had to go sit down for a game.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah, I did throw you a bit of a oop. You're right. You're welcome. So do you guys have? I mean, me personally, like you said, it's a coin flip. It's really tough to call the next game. But do you guys have any? If you had to put money down, who would you guys take in this game coming up today? It's in OKC, I believe. Yes.
Oklahoma. Oh well. Like I said, neither one of these teams lose back-to-back. They're great at adjusting. And whoever wins this game is winning the series because no one can win consecutive games. So they got the upper hand in Game 7, right? If I had to, I'm going to stick with the better team. The better team is Oklahoma. They do everything Indiana doesn't. Still, credit to Indiana, but they are better at every level. So I'm a grab with that, boss.
And I'm gonna go the other way. I mean, I do think OKC is the better team. I'm just rooting for Indiana. When I don't have a dog in the fight, I'm just rooting for who I'm rooting for. I think my boy RN, not registered nurse, he needs to be an RN. Take off the cap and be an RN, and stay consistent. Consistency the key for the entire game. Just put pressure on the defense for the entire game. When Tyrese Halliburton puts pressure on opposing defenses, and he scores 20 and has 10 assists, I think they got some ridiculous record, like 24-2 or something like that. I saw a stat the other day. So he needs to be that guy. If he's that guy, I think they can steal Game 3 and go back home with a chance to win that chip.
Yeah, and I just can't wrap my head around the Pacers winning the whole thing for whatever reason. I just think that I just wasn't ready for them to take that jump. So in my heart, I feel like OKC is the better team. They just have a little bit more talent from top to bottom because they're gonna have Case and Wallace might drop 20 points. It just all depends on who's got it going. I think that they're a little bit more complete as far as both ends of the court. They got, the rim protectors and, Holmgren and Hartenstein and, Jalen Williams. I know we said that he might be the odd man out as far as the guys getting those, max, extensions, but he just continues to, prove why, he's an all-star right now. So, that's all that's saying, without even mentioning, SGA, who was the MVP. So if I had to put my money down, I would go with OKC, but we know that it can literally go either way. Just kind of a couple bounces here and there, and it can go either way. We're going to take our last break, and we're going to talk about a coaching search. All right, this news is a little bit it's a couple weeks late, but still very relevant because they have not the New York Knicks have not found their new coach as of yet. Tom Thibodeau was let go, shortly after losing to the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. yeah, after making it all the way that further than the Knicks have made it in quite some time, the Knicks have chose to go. There's that part ways with Tom Thibodeau, and we know that going into the playoffs, there was a lot of pressure on him to make some things, make some things happen. He's been able to, take the team to the playoffs, but has not been able to, reach the NBA Finals. They had a pretty decent opportunity, but after that loss to the Pacers, I think they were up 14 points with 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Pacers obviously went on that crazy comeback, and Halliburton did the old rendition of the Reggie Miller choke signal, and Knicks lose 4-2, and the rest is history. But were you guys surprised at all at their decision to get rid of Tibbs? And you guys have any idea on who they might be looking at as replacement?
If I had an idea of who they wanted to hire, I would not tell them. I would just go play the lottery, because I am Svengali. They don't have an idea who they want to hire. They fired Tibbs without a plan of action altogether. They had to ask around the league that, hey, can we interview your head coach? No, get out of our face. That's been the response they've gotten from like 17 teams. So no, I have no idea who they would like to hire. Oh, well, they would like to hire someone, right? Someone who's anti-Tibbs. So that's usually how things go. You fire a coach, you'll get the opposite. But did it shock me? After the initial headline of like, wow, the Knicks did something extremely Nicky, then when I thought about it a little deeper, no, we all know who Tibbs is. Tibbs is gonna crash out. He's gonna burn out his welcome, and that's just how it is. Even if he leads your team to the best season you've had in 50 years. Well, not 50 years. The Knicks was in the finals in 94. Well, in 2000, but so
going
25 years.
Then they've been in 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah. The best season they had in 25 years. I mean, because the Knicks has been a laughing stock this whole century. But
you done playing?
But if you read that report that came out on the Athletic 24 hours after the season ended, you knew something was going to happen, right? Either Cat was going to get traded because they pulled no punches about Cat, and the team, the players, they had a lot to say about Cat. They had a lot to say about Tibbs. I think Cat was one of those players that had a lot to say about Tibbs, and Tibbs lost that battle.
And that'll be the second time that Tibbs got him. I mean, that he got Tibbs fired, because he got him fired in Minnesota as well.
Yeah.
Not to cut your tape. What were you gonna say?
Here's my analogy of the Knicks playing. Like, how we know what they're gonna do, they don't know what they're gonna do. But it'd be like me. I've been married for 17 years. Good marriage, 17 years. I mean, I'm gonna divorce my wife. Then I'm gonna call up Jay-Z and say, "Hey, you mind if I talk to Beyonce and see if she's interested?" And then if that don't work, I'm gonna call Russell Wilson and see if he let me talk to Sierra. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep going down the line of couples that are married and probably decent marriages. Like, I mean, to say, "Hey, can I talk to your wife?" Like, that's not a plan, right? So I think the Knicks' lack of a plan is cousin to that. As far as Tibbs go, I was surprised that they got rid of Tibbs, just because the Knicks went further than I anticipated them going. So they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals to a Game 6 and lost. I mean, I don't think we thought when the playoffs started the Knicks was going that far. They lost to all the best teams all year. They didn't beat none of them. They beat the Celtics, pretty handily. Who'd they win in the first round against?
The Pistons.
The Pistons.
They didn't beat them in the first. They didn't meet in the regular season, but yeah, they found a way out of the first round.
So they stepped up in the playoffs. And I wasn't looking for an assist falls. I really forgot who they won in the But yeah, man. So, and like Pay said, Tibbs does wear his welcome out. If they had got rid of him and had a plan to go in a new direction, like we want to get somebody, a more offensive minded coach that's going to use a larger rotation and stuff like that. I get it. You need new eyes and new voice. I ain't mad at you. But they didn't have no plan. I think this is, like Pay said, Nick's nicking, but it's really James Dolan. You know what I mean? Just doing what he does. So I think that's a big part of it. He's one of those owners that are always too much involved in the team building aspect of things and stuff like that. When you hire somebody like Leon Rose, just let Leon Rose run with it and be the guy that's steering that ship. So, yeah, the Knicks, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, for a coach, I don't know if they trade for KD, if Cat's going to be there. I mean, we still got in 3 weeks, we'll start knowing some of these answers.
Absolutely. And obviously, with the draft around the corner, I'm sure they're hoping to, get a coach in there before. Well, I don't even know. Do they even have a draft pick this year? I'm not sure. Maybe the draft part isn't all that important, but
they should have a draft pick. All the picks they gave up for you.
Right. Yeah, they probably don't then. They probably don't. But yeah, it appears they've casted a wide net. I think Jason Kidd was probably the hottest name early on, and I think the Mavericks have already told them that they can't talk to him. But we all know how that all that goes with tampering and all that. But who else? I think Taylor Jenkins, the ex Memphis Grizzly coach, is going to be the first official interview.
Him and Mike Malone from the Nuggets.
Yep. And it looks like Billy Donovan will, is going to get that extension in Chicago. So his name will be out of the ring. Has Mike Brown already coached there before? Because that's another name that I'm seeing
in New York.
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking of Mike Woodson. That's
Mike Woodson. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Brown's only coached Cleveland twice.
Okay, and the Kings.
Yeah, he coaches Kings twice too?
No, twice. I'm saying he coached the Kings also. But Pay, that's a question Central Division related. What as a Bulls at least reporter, even if you're not a fan, what do the Bulls see in Billy Donovan, man? Why this guy been there so long? He got new pictures of somebody in the front office. You
don't need to have blackmail on the Reinsdorfs to keep a job. The Reinsdorfs are incredibly loyal to people that they carry their water for them. I'm not saying that's what Billy Donovan does, because I haven't seen any instances of him being a lackey. I think this is just one of those situations because Billy Donovan just did get his contract extension, I think 2 seasons ago. So him being up for another one is a little, if you're not reading the tea leaves, it might be a little confusing, just based on he hasn't done anything to progress since that last extension. However, again, tea leaves, you got other teams asking about you, and therefore you can always be like, oh, you know what? I got other options out there. I might do a little, what's my man from Connecticut? A little Dan Hurley. Let me go ahead and play my cards so I get me a raise. That's all this is for me.
Leverage.
That's a leverage.
Usually to make a leverage play, you have to have had some type of success.
Right.
Like, oh, all right, y'all, I'm going somewhere else. Like my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. If Mike Tomlin wanted to leave, Mike Tomlin would have probably about 25 calls the next day about being a head coach. That ain't happening with the coach. What's his name again?
Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan. Yeah, it ain't happening with Billy Donovan.
Just got one. All you need is two. All you need is two to create a bidding war.
Right.
That's true. That's true. Very true.
Yeah. And I mean, the Bulls haven't just totally. I mean, obviously Donovan is right in line with whatever the owners are asking him to do, because they haven't just fully tanked out, and if they wanted to tank out and Donovan was any adverse to that, then he probably would be gone. But that mediocrity level that he's staying at is apparently what they're aiming for at this point. So
He said they
Who knows?
mediocrity.
I mean,
Who knows? AKME, the president of basketball ops and the general manager, they put this squad together. Billy Donovan is just the guy that's driving the car that somebody else bought. Whether or not
he's been there long enough to put miles on the car, though. Ain't he been there about 8 years now?
What's this, 2025? It's about 8 years now. So not to say that I think he should be retained for employment by the Bulls, because I think he should have been fired a while back. Because I agree. If you're not going forward, you're going backwards. So that's my opinion on the matter. However, just knowing how the Reinsdorfs do business, if you do what they like for you to do, you say what you're supposed to say in the media, you carry the necessary water when they give it to you, you'll be rewarded financially, and you'll continue to have something on your resume from Chicago. So that's just how they operate. But as far as Billy and where the team is going, in a being stuck in neutral just to keep the car going, just to keep the car puns going, I don't think that's on Billy per se. The players that he's been given, for the most part, are square pegs to fit into a round hole. I don't think the team was necessarily built correctly, other than that one 30-game sample size when Lonzo Ball was healthy. Other than that, the team has been a hodgepodge of pieces. Now they do have some light at the end of the tunnel, just based on what you can put on the court with all the white players. You're gonna have to, like, you're supposed to mute me, so I'll take Gemini. They do have a light at the end of the tunnel with all the white players on the roster, but you got to play. You got to have to pay some of them this offseason. Josh Giddey is up for a contract. We just talked about Jalen Suggs earlier. Jalen Suggs is Josh Giddey's basement. $30 million a year you have to pay Giddey at least, right? Because look how much they just paid Pat Williams last offseason. Talking about the Bulls. Pat Williams was the guy they drafted in the what draft was that? The Halliburton draft, right?
2020. Halliburton with 12 that year, and Patrick Williams, or what's his name? Was that Patrick Williams? Went fourth.
Yeah, Pat Williams went fourth, right?
I know, because Okoro went fifth. There was something on the Cleveland podcast about that. Was that a bad draft because of COVID and you couldn't meet with the players and bring them in to work out? Because it's a lot of buzz from that draft. And from the lottery anyway.
Killian Hayes
out the league. Isaac, what's his name? James Wiseman, Wiseman, Isaac Okoro, Jonathan Wiseman. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, we could blame COVID, just give everybody a mulligan, but but maybe that goes for everybody else. You know, as you said, Killian Hayes, he's out the league and all that right now. You can give Detroit a mulligan. The Bulls re-upped with Pat Williams. They gave him a contract extension. They gave him 90 mil, right? So you can't really excuse the Bulls and how they do business, because if we can see Patrick Williams is, and he's just not a piece to a team that's going to go anywhere, right? I don't even want to call him just a guy. I got into it with all my guys on the podcast. They got mad at me because I on a show we did a couple of years ago, I say that he should be put in the G League. That's exactly where he belongs. He needs to figure out what his angle is. He needs to figure out where his what his type of what's on the word I'm looking for? He needs to figure out what type of player he wants to be and just work on that craft. That's what you do in the G League, right? No one agreed. They said he's a first round talent. He's got to stay where he got to stay in Chicago. He's got to be there just for appearance's sake for the most part, because he is a top 5 draft pick. Yeah. They got mad at me when I said Obi Toppin should be their draft pick a couple of drafts ago. And now look at him. He's the type of role player that you need to have for a winning team. The guy who does 3-and-D and makes splash plays every now and then. Those are the type of
player though at the number 4 pick with this. I mean, I guess at this point,
right. I mean, but you're gonna get role players all throughout the draft. Everybody. I mean, Donovan Mitchell for the Cleveland Cavs. Where was he drafted? He was drafted in what, 13th? Yeah, every now and then you might find a star somewhere. But for the most part, your role players are coming 7 on back. And role players help you get to where you're going to get to. We talked about this last week. Or was it it was last week. Neesmith, Nimhard, Miles, all these guys, Obi Toppin, all these guys are role players. These guys aren't your 1s or your 2s, but without them, you're not getting to the finals. The Bulls consistently don't put the right players around certain teams. When they do have a star, they don't put the right players around them to advance their team in a trajectory that even resembles winning.
And that's part of the reason why.
And the Pacers don't have one top 5 pick, do they? They don't have one top 5 pick
on their team.
I don't think so.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why that maybe the Obi Toppin one doesn't work out. As you can see, it took him leaving New York to really find his niche. But it makes you wonder if you do.
Well, the Knicks do overdraft and mess up a lot too. But James Dolan.
I'd argue B. Falls has that draft of 2020. I'd argue that Obi Toppin might be the third best player on that list of the lottery picks.
Devin Vassell?
I think Obi Toppin might be better. I mean, Devin Vassell is nice. He's up there. But if you go down the list, LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo and Ant are obvious,
Yeah, obvious.
But yeah,
but everybody else.
Yeah, Jalen Smith.
Halliburton. So, okay, 4th or 5th, Obi Toppin.
Tyrese Maxey.
Where he went? He went in the lottery, though.
Oh, yeah, lottery wise, yes.
Right.
Yeah. Malachi Flynn. Wow. Desmond Bain, the last pick in the 30th pick. Okay. Yeah, it was all over the place. I think that's the safest way to assess that. Because obviously Desmond Bain has panned out quite well at the 30th pick, and he was originally went to the Celtics. Straight to
Jaden McDaniels.
Where is he?
So he's down to 28.
Okay, I see. Jaden McDaniels. There's 2 McDaniels, right? Oh no, he went to the Timberwolves. Yeah, quickly. Yeah. Interesting. So that's a topic that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. So yeah, other than that, we had an extensive conversation about the Chicago Bulls. Is there any hot news coming out of Cleveland to speak on?
Speaking of that 2020 draft, Cleveland's trying to move Isaac Okoro. We didn't pay him much as Patrick Williams got paid. He got a 3-year, $33 million extension. So $11 million a year. We can't get off of him though. Paul's no Diddy. We can't get nobody to buy him off the trade market. But outside of that, I think Cleveland's making calls and picking up the phone. I think the players that could potentially be gone is Dean Wade, Isaac Okoro, Jared Allen's the biggest name of that group, and only one is Sam Merrill or Ty Jerome is going to be back. So, that's what's going on in Cleveland right now. Kobe Altman's making calls and taking calls. I think they got to get. I said this, I believe, last week. Get more athletic. You can't get rid of Okoro, so you may as well play him. He has value in the regular season. He's a great defender. If he could just keep working on his shot and start knocking down open threes, he could be worth the $11 million. But they got to start playing the rookie they drafted last year, Jalen Tyson, Craig Porter Jr. get a little more PT. And I think even Imani Bates, if they bring him back, which I think they probably have to, it's going to be on the regular roster next year, not in the G League, and they can find some minutes for him just during the regular season and see how he plays next year. But yeah, so just trying to make a more athletic movement, not so much a youth movement, but yeah, I'm not mad if I did all the talk. I'm not mad if Ty Jerome goes though. I mean, against the Patriots, he proved he was getting ripped constantly and missing shots and his defensive liability. So he's good in spurts. He got exposed when Garland got hurt and he had to play too much. So for the money he had cost, the market's saying probably about 12 to 14 million right now. I'm letting him go for that.
Yeah, at the age of, I think, 28, I think he definitely missed out on an opportunity to get that big payday. And now you got the Orlando Magic. They no longer need that point guard that, he might have been a nice fit over there. So we'll see how that goes. As far as the Pistons are concerned, obviously seeing a team like Orlando, make that push to be a top ascending team in Eastern Conference, it opens your eyes to, you're only one move away. And obviously we're a year ahead of our progression. So there's always an opportunity for us to make some moves. And we'll just have to see if we can bring Malik Beasley back, because there is some limitations on how much we can pay him. And, for all intents and purposes, I think that he does want to be in Detroit.
Is that who JB wants back? I heard there's a veteran that JB is kind of campaigning for over in Detroit.
Somebody that's already with Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're saying that they're seeing some value in Tim Hardaway. I'm certainly hoping off the bench, certainly not to be a starter like he was last year, but I would have to think that Beasley is the guy that he's referencing first, just because he was a big impact on the team. So I think that Schroeder ends up being the odd man out, especially with Jaden Ivey coming back full time. And I think that it's not off the table for us to go out and use some of our assets to bring in a number two guy. So I saw some weak KD rumors. I don't think that happens, and that I don't think that puts us in a good position long term. But it'll make for some nice headlines.
Do you guys think KD the first domino to fall as far as the trade market goes?
Desmond Bain was the first domino to fall.
No, but major domino. That's a decent trade. I'm talking about.
That's important because someone gave up 5 picks for him.
That's true.
So now, that all that's interconnected. KD's going somewhere this year, and KD wanted to go to New York to tie it all back in. But now that Desmond Bain has moved 4 or 5 picks, Mikal Bridges, as you know, last year,
4 picks.
4 picks, as you remember, Mikal Bridges went for 5 picks last year.
So did Rudy. There's
the opportunity for there to be many landing spots for KD is shrinking up because New York say they don't even want him. KD wants to go to New York, back to New York to play for the actual team of New York, but they say they don't want him. So whatever domino that falls, I don't. So to come, I guess to answer your question, Tate, I don't think so. I don't think that's the first quote unquote major piece to fall, because I don't think the market for him is that large.
Wow. Well,
Eventually they get tired of him just destroying franchises and saying, "Hey,
well, I mean,
sit
you know,
show down somewhere."
Hey, Foster. That's a 15-time All-Star, even though he's a journeyman at this point in his career. Ouch. Journeymen do not destroy rosters. Sorry. The roster was already bad when he got there.
Yeah, I mean,
Brooklyn, I don't know.
Well, that was a bad experiment. That was Harden, Kyrie, and K. Them all bucket getters, man. You gotta assimilate and put a team together, man. Structure it the right way. That team from Go wasn't structured the right way.
The second they got there and they fired the coach that got Brooklyn to almost to the second round. Yeah, it was a failed experiment right then and there.
It was Kenny Atkinson, right?
It was Kenny Atkinson. You're right. It was Kenny Atkinson. They fired him. They fired him, and then they brought in Steve Nash and said.
And Kyrie said, "We can coach ourselves." Mm-hmm. I think that's your franchise destroyer, at least back then.
Still,
it was. We had a question. That? We had a question on the Know It Alls podcast yesterday. Who are you taking in a prime if you're on your team between prime Kyrie and prime CP3? Prime Kyrie and prime CP3.
Kyrie's got a ring, right?
Yep.
If Chris Paul played with LeBron, would he have a ring?
Yep.
Hey.
I mean, if the rest of the roster doesn't matter, this is my first pick, and I know everything that I know now. I'm taking Chris Paul.
That's what I said too. I think Kyrie probably the better player, the better bucket getter, and probably the better talent. But Chris Paul is a dog. Prime Chris Paul is a dog, a leader, a get in your face kind of guy, and made players better around him his whole career. So
I would go as far as I agree with you about everything you said, but I would also recall that before Chris Paul tore his knee, he was just as good as Kyrie was at his height, at his peak. Chris Paul before the knee injury, he can do everything Kyrie do. Maybe he didn't have the layup package that Kyrie has. In fact, he doesn't. He did not have a layup package, but he had the handle. He doesn't have the three that Kyrie has either. Now I will put that in there as well. But everything you said, if you remember Chris Paul in New Orleans Chris Paul, dog.
Well, didn't he have Tyson Chandler make an All-Star game too, though?
Tyson Chandler was this close to being out the league. Tyson Chandler was drafted by the Bulls number 2. Number 2 in the draft. History of the Bulls doing dumb shit, right? And in the draft with their top 5 picks. He was drafted number 2. And they could not get anything. He wasn't producing at a number 2 draft pick level.
He came out of high school though. In fairness,
so did a lot of players around that time. And Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry was another one. And why would they draft both of them in the same year? That's just the Bulls. And they had to split that up, right? Even though Eddie Curry projected to be the better player long term, Tyson Chandler just didn't have it. He went to New Orleans. This is, like I said, this was his last stop on his NBA career, and Chris Paul made him into an All-Star.
But he won with Dallas after that, right?
In 2011.
Nice career for him overall.
Oh yeah, he definitely made a good career for himself. Thanks, Chris Paul.
Right. But in closing, where can these folks find you if they want more Bulls and Cavalier news?
For the Cleveland Cavaliers, check us out on the That's Rather Cavalier podcast. Your audio, wherever you get your audio podcast. That's Rather Cavalier, Fans First Sports Network. Also, we talk about the Cavs on the Know It Alls podcast. Check out the Know It Alls podcast on the Know It Alls YouTube channel. We talk NBA and stuff, not specifically just the Cavs. We talk NBA and stuff like that and other stuff. So check us out over there. I'm your boy Tate, and that's where you can find the Cavs talking NBA talk far as from podcasts that I contribute to.
And for Chicago, we've got everything Chicago Cubs, Sky, Bulls, Bears, Sox, and Fire related over at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Pandora, Amazon Music, Castbox, iHeartRadio. We're all right there. And you can, if you want to come to YouTube, check us out there. Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel on YouTube. Everything, all audio shows and video shows do end up on YouTube. So you can one-stop shop it there if you prefer. But yeah, we drop everything. We drop about 3 to 4 episodes a week. So it's not a bad follow. Check us out. Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel.
Don't miss a drop.
Never do that.
And lastly, you can catch us obviously on YouTube at Bleachers and Speakers. As far as Pistons news, post-game podcast and all audio aggregators. Stay tuned for next week. We'll be having another Monday show, Central Division Showdown. And I don't know if we'll have is it possible for us to have an NBA champ by then?
Yeah.
Game 5 is tonight, which is Monday. They go back to Indiana on Thursday, I think. Yeah, I think it'll be settled by then. I think Game 7 probably be Sunday.
All right. So we'll be breaking that down on Monday night. So see you guys next time.